Welcome back to the YZF750R project, and you're looking at a very rusty chain and also a very rusty shock that came off the back of this. Now I think this is probably the original shock off the bike, and looking at the state of it I think you'll agree. That's also the knuckle there, which is the pivot point between the shock and the underside of the swing arm. I have ordered, or got should I say, I had ordered another one of those knuckles, so it should be a lot better, and the bearings and sort of greasing pivot points of that will be a lot better. And as you can see, even from those dog bones, as they call them, they're rusty. They're fine. They're very thick still. Just to show you these, steel or alley, I'm not sure, but yeah, I guess they're still looking at the rust on them. Yeah, they're in a pretty poor state anyway, but they're thick and they're not bent. They're not in any way really sort of degraded. They could easily be sort of rubbed down and then resprayed to look half decent. But anyway, let's have a look at the swing arm. So here we are. This is the swing arm off the back of the bike. I took this off the other night, sprayed some blue stuff on there, which basically kind of works its way into any sort of grease and dirt, and then I can sort of remove that tonight. So that's the swing arm. Let's just show you inside the underside here. Now you can just about see between this point here and this point here is where the swing arm sits in. This point here, and obviously the other side down here. So these 2 points basically sit in between these 2 points here, and it doesn't actually pivot here. It pivots underside of there. So the bolt goes through, and these stay static, and then it actually pivots from the underside of these. So that's what it looks like in there. Fairly grim. I'm not really going to get up and clean all the way inside that bit. What I am going to do is just clean this swing arm and then re-grease and clean the bearings and put some new grease in, because these dust caps here come off, and then basically you got the bearings inside, sort of needle bearings made up of several long cylindrical tubes of steel which roll rather than a ball bearing type, so they're sort of elongated bearings. So I'm going to re-grease that, sort that out, and then put the swing arm back in once I've cleaned it, and put the pivot back in, and then I've got sort of the nice fun bit, if you like, of putting the new shock on. I do have a GSXR shock, which I'll show you once it's in place. Yeah, that's kind of it really. I mean, I'll probably clean up underneath here, because once you get the wheel on and the swing arm on, it's very hard to clean up underneath these sorts of trays and things. And just to show you the state of the subframe, now the aluminium section of the subframe is absolutely fine. It's not really corroded in any way. Maybe a tiny little bit you can just about see coming on there, but otherwise the alley's really good. That's the only real bit there. But the steel section of it is in fairly bad shape, as in very rusty. Now this bit you don't see, because obviously you've got the rear section of the fairing on there, but this part where you got these parts here where you put like luggage, bungee straps and things on over your seat so you can hold stuff down, they don't look too good. So what I am going to do eventually, once I've got the rear wheel on and it's sat on a rear wheel, obviously I'll undo these, take this off, rub it down just like I am doing with the bit up the front with the stays where the fairing goes. I will do the same back here, and I will respray, having rubbed all that down, get it all resprayed so it looks nice and neat and tidy. So yeah, tonight I'm just going to finish the swing arm, cleaning it up, then get that back in the back of the bike, and then really yeah, just spend some time cleaning really and getting stuff back together on the back end of this bike. Okay, thanks for watching. Right, welcome back to Dino's Garage on what is a beautiful April's evening. Just to show you where I am now with the rear swing arm. So I've sorted out all the linkage, all the bearings have been basically, all the shafts have been taken out, all the bearings have been cleaned, re-greased. This is a newer knuckle that I bought, the pivot knuckle, because I thought the old one really was just going to have too many bearings that needed replacing, and all the bearings in that were very good, so I cleaned that up. You can just see the YZF750R. That is a 2007 shock. I had a bit of problem with this, where the shock is a really nice, almost brand new shock. I have taken a decision, a rather rash decision, but I've done it all the same, to remove a little bit more of the plate here. You've still got obviously all the integral welding and all the parts that sort of hold the structure and make the swing arm stiff. You can just about make out the light's a bit poor under there, but that is the GSXR shock in there now, and because of the remote reservoir, I needed to remove some of that metal, so as the swing arm pivots up like this with the shock, the remote reservoir doesn't foul against the plate. I'm hoping I've removed enough. I'm hoping it will work out. It's really tight now against the welding, so I really don't have anything left to take off. So if it does pivot up and hit that reservoir, then I'm going to have to obviously go back to square one, remove that shock and replace the shock with another shock, and well, that's the way it is, I suppose. But so there we are, that's that part done,